Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world with me, Deepika, coming up in the next half an hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to begin his 3-day visit to Northeast and other states. Projects worth over 71,850 crore rupees to be inaugurated. Nepal gets its first women Prime Minister, Sushila Karki, after days of deadly anti-graft protests by Gen Z, killing at least 51 people. India backs new interim government, pledges support. NATO to strengthen defense of Europe's eastern flank after Poland shot down alleged Russian drones. US joins in solidarity. Poland rejects Trump's remark. Suspect in Trump's ally and activist Charlie Kirk murder taken into custody after 33 hours of manhunt. In sports, World Athletics Championship begins in Tokyo. Neeraj Chopra to headline India's 19-member Indian contingent. Good morning to all the viewers. Let's begin with the latest. With an aim to bolster development, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to begin his 3-day visit to Mizoram, Manipur, Assam, West Bengal and Bihar. On the 13th of September, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Mizoram and lay the foundation stone and inaugurate multiple development projects worth over 9,000 crore rupees at Aizawl. Thereafter, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Manipur and lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects worth over 7,300 crore rupees at Churchandpur. Further, he will inaugurate various projects worth over 1,200 crore rupees at Imphal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will thereafter visit Assam and participate in the celebrations of the 100th birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna Dr. Bhupen Hazarika in Guwahati. On the day of his visit, on the 14th of September, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of major infrastructure and industrial development projects worth over 18,530 crore rupees in Assam. He will also lay the foundation stone of various projects at Darang. Thereafter, he will inaugurate Assam Bioethanol Private Limited Numalikal refinery plant at Golaghat. He will also lay the foundation stone of polypropylene plant at Golaghat. And on the last day of his multi-state visit, which is on the 15th of September, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit West Bengal and inaugurate the 16th Combined Commanders Conference 2025 in Kolkata. Thereafter, Prime Minister will visit Bihar and inaugurate the new terminal building of Purnia Airport. Further, he will also lay the foundation stone and inaugurate multiple development projects worth around 36,000 crore rupees at Purnia. He will also launch the National Makhana Port in Bihar. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone and inaugurate multiple development projects worth over 9,000 crore rupees at Aizawl. These projects will cater to multiple sectors including railways, roadways, energy, sports, among others. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Bairabi-Serang new rail line connecting the capital of Mizoram to the Indian Railways network for the first time. He will also flag off 3 new express trains. Aizawl will now be directly connected with Delhi through Rajdhani Express.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी इनॉग्रेट करेंगे बायरबी सारंग को प्रोजेक्ट को, उसके बाद में मिजोरम रेलवे के नेटवर्क के साथ जुड़ जाएगा। ये बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट प्रोजेक्ट है, बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण प्रोजेक्ट है, क्योंकि मिजोरम की सब जन जन का जो सपना था, हर एक आइजॉल हो चाहे सारंग हो, इस राज्य में सभी का जो सपना था वो सपना पूरा होगा। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी 3 ट्रेन्स को इनॉग्रेट करेंगे। एक तो राजधानी एक्सप्रेस दिल्ली के लिए, दूसरा कोलकाता के लिए ट्राई वीकली एक्सप्रेस और तीसरा गुवाहाटी के लिए डेली मिजोरम एक्सप्रेस.
In a major boost to road infrastructure, Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of multiple road projects. The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of Chimtuipui River Bridge on the Langwaitlai CI Road. The former Chief Justice of Nepal, Sushila Karki, took oath as the Prime Minister of interim government in Nepal. After intensive discussions from the last 3 days and a formal dialogue at the President's office, Sheetal Niwas, since Friday morning, it was decided to appoint former Chief Justice Sushila Karki as the head of the interim government. Sushila Karki becomes the first women Prime Minister of Nepal. She is the first women Chief Justice of Nepal who was widely praised for her integrity. As per reports, President Ramchandra Paudel may dissolve the House of Representatives and the new Prime Minister will build her new team including Gen Z representatives to be part of the interim government. Her appointment aligns with the demands of the protesting Gen Z demonstrators who have been calling for immediate dissolution of the parliament and leading the interim government free from the existing corrupt political leaders. In a pivotal response to Nepal's escalating political crisis, India welcomed the formation of a new interim government on Friday. India's statement emphasizes continued collaboration as close neighbors and fellow democracies to foster well-being and prosperity for both the nations. Karki, backed by youth activists for her anti-corruption stance, is tasked with dissolving the parliament and organizing elections by March 2026, marking a potential turning point in Nepal's turbulent journey towards reform. Moving on. The World Trade Center, Mumbai and All India Association of Industries organized an exclusive session titled GST 2.0 Road to Viksit Bharat on Friday, uniting policymakers and industry leaders to discuss India's evolving tax framework. K.R. Uday Bhaskar, who is the Principal Chief Commissioner of CGST and Central Excise, announced significant GST 2.0 reforms effective from the 22nd of September aimed at simplifying compliance and boosting growth. Bhaskar noted that GST generated 22 lakh crore rupees last year, with Maharashtra contributing 21%. The session highlighted AI-driven compliance, automation and alignment with India's Viksit Bharat 2047 vision, emphasizing stakeholder-driven policy decisions.
We will be monitoring the prices both before and after the changes will take effect from September 22nd onwards. So wherever these benefits are not being passed on, so the taxpayers or the ultimate consumers can bring it to our notice. We will take them. We will take appropriate action against the errant persons.
Union Minister for Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal and the Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security, Interinstitutional Relations and Transparency, European Union, Maros Sefcovic, attended the 65th annual session of the Automobile Component Manufacturing Association in New Delhi on Friday. Both the leaders reaffirmed their commitment towards a fair and equitable deal as far as the free trade agreement with the European Union is concerned. Amidst intense negotiations which is currently underway, both the leaders also said that they are almost nearing the deadline for the FTA and expressed that they are hoping to see an announcement on the deal coming before the deadline is over. Take a listen.
Intensive talks and negotiations on what I believe would be ground-breaking free trade agreement between European Union and India. And we've been negotiating this for quite some time, but I can tell you that it never got to such a momentum as we have right now between Minister Goyal and myself, and of course having the strong political support from both leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen.
Are looking forward to a very robust, fair, equitable, balanced, mutually beneficial win-win partnership in terms of an enduring free trade agreement which will outlive all of us in this room, which will strengthen this relationship between Europe and India, and which will, in some sense, define two large economies as we grow in the next 20-25 years to become a $30 trillion plus economy.
Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal addressed the FEBI DPIIT Joint Ministerial Business Interaction, where the ministers called for a unified European voice to enhance the India-Europe business partnership. Echoing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision, he emphasized that India's tie with Europe are rooted in a shared value and a common vision for a better world. Piyush Goyal also underlined that his partnership is not just bilateral, but a potential model for global geopolitics and cooperation.
So if we can collectively get the voice of Europe on one platform, and I had recommended last time also when I came for the inaugural, if we can also get businesses who are working in Europe but are Indian companies, so let's say TCS, or Wipro, or Infosys, or Tata Jaguar, Tata Motors. It may actually make this organization truly reflective of the European Indian businesses, if it becomes something on both sides of the fence. As the Prime Minister of India had said, India's partnership with Europe is built on shared values and shared vision for a better world. So really, this partnership with Europe is not only about us. We will actually be setting a role model for the geopolitics of the world.
Strengthening ties with India is a top priority for the United States. While as both the nations emphasize their growing strategic partnership, U.S. envoy designate to India has said Washington and New Delhi are on a track to resolve issues between them. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also echoed the same sentiments. Our next report brings you more details. Take a look.
The India-US ties appear to be getting fine-tuned, with both sides emphasizing the robust historic relationship. In fact, the US envoy designate to India, Sergio Gore, has said that Washington and New Delhi are on track to resolve hiccups in the relationship. Speaking at his Senate confirmation hearing in Washington, D.C. on Thursday, Gore underlined that India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond.
India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond. Under President Donald Trump's strong leadership, I'm committed to advancing America's interest in this important partnership. India's geographic position, economic growth, and military capabilities make it a cornerstone of regional stability and a critical part of promoting prosperity and advancing the security interests that our nations share.
Gore emphasized that India's geographic position, economic growth, and military capabilities make it a cornerstone for regional stability and a crucial part of promoting shared prosperity and security interests.
We might have our moment of hiccups right now. We are on the track of resolving that. Our relationship with the Indian government, with the people of India, extends many more decades. And it's a
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio too stressed that India is one of the top relationships the U.S. has in the world today. Supporting Sergio Gore at his confirmation hearing, Rubio said Washington is in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with Delhi.
India is, I would say, one of the top relationships the United States has in the world today in terms of the future of what the world's going to look like. The 21st century, the story is going to be written in the Indo-Pacific. In fact, it's so important we've actually changed the name of the combatant command to the Indo-Pacific. India is at the core of that. And we are in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with India. We've got some really important issues coming up that we need to work with them on and work through.
With both sides committed to strengthening ties, the India-US partnership is poised to play a pivotal role in shaping the geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific region. As strategic priorities align, Washington and New Delhi continue to build on their shared values and common goals, fostering a relationship that promises stability, growth, and mutual benefit for years to come. Bureau Report, DD India.
India voted in favour of a UN General Assembly resolution supporting the New York Declaration for the peaceful resolution of Israel-Hamas conflict. The resolution proposed by France was supported by 142 countries, opposed by 10, with 12 abstaining. Countries voting against included Argentina, Hungary, Israel and the USA. The declaration calls for ending the Gaza conflict, implementing a two-state solution for a just, peaceful and lasting resolution to the conflict, and building a better future for Palestinians, Israelis and the region as a whole. It urges Israeli leadership to publicly commit to a sovereign, viable Palestinian state under two-state solution. The commander of Myanmar Army, Lieutenant General Koko O, and 4 delegation members visited the headquarters of Eastern Command at Vijay Durg in Kolkata. The visit was part of the overall 7th Army to Army staff talks between the two nations. As part of his visit, the General Officer visited New Delhi, Agra and Gaya. Lieutenant General interacted with Lieutenant General Ramchandar Tiwari, General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Eastern Command, and lauded the efforts of the Indian Armed Forces for their steadfastness, dedication and professionalism. They discussed measures to enhance defence cooperation between the two armies, particularly in the field of cutting-edge technology, with a focus on ensuring the security of both the nations. The Indian Army supports initiatives to strengthen the Myanmar Army's digital training capabilities, helping to improve information management within their organization. India is committed to assist Myanmar in modernizing its defense infrastructure and promoting technology-driven collaboration between the two nations. The visit has significantly bolstered the long-standing friendship and cooperation between the two armies. The Indian Army remains steadfast in its commitment to fostering strong defence ties with Myanmar, thereby contributing to regional peace and stability. Time to take a short break, but still to come on the other side. Hong Kong's Disneyland celebrates 20th anniversary, marking 2 decades of fun and frolic. Fitch downgrades France's sovereign credit score. And in sports, India shines at Hong Kong Badminton tournament as Lakshya Sen, Satvik Chirag reaches semi-finals. Welcome back. After that short break, you're watching DD India Live. NATO announced plans to beef up the defense of Europe's eastern flank on Friday, 2 days after Poland shot down drones that had violated its airspace in the first known action of its kind by a member of the Western Alliance during Russia-Ukraine spat. At the United Nations, the United States called the airspace violations alarming and vowed to defend every inch of NATO's territory, remarking that appeared aimed at assuaging Washington's NATO allies after President Donald Trump said Russia's drone incursion could have been a mistake. Well, on Friday, Poland rejected Trump's suggestions that the incursions could have been a mistake, a rare contradiction of the US president from one of Washington's closest European allies. And later on Friday, the US joined Western allies in a statement to express concerns about the drone incursion and to accuse Moscow of violating international law and the founding UN Charter. In a high-stakes diplomatic move, US President Donald Trump is set to dine with Qatar's Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani in New York today. The meeting follows Israel's airstrike on Hamas in Doha on the 9th of September, killing 5 members, including the son of top negotiator Khalil al-Hayya, according to Hamas. Trump, expressing unhappiness over the strike's location in a key US ally hosting Al Udeid Air Base, aims to discuss mediation efforts and a potential US-Qatar security pact. Qatar condemned the attack as state terrorism, threatening stalled Gaza ceasefire talks. Regional tensions escalate ahead of the Arab summit in Doha on Sunday. The United States, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Egypt called on Friday for a 3-month humanitarian truce in Sudan to be followed by a permanent ceasefire and a 9-month transition towards civilian rule. Since April 2023, Sudan has been torn apart by war between its army, which maintains control over most state institutions, and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. The conflict has killed tens of thousands, displaced millions, and created what the United Nations describes as one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Despite international efforts to push for peace, it remains unclear whether the warring factions are willing to engage. Both the sides have repeatedly vowed to continue fighting until secure outright military victory. US authorities confirmed they had captured the man accused of killing prominent right-wing activist Charlie Kirk after a family member helped to turn him in, ending a frantic manhunt. Utah Governor Cox identified the suspect as a 22-year-old Tyler Robinson and said the arrest was made after one of Robinson's relatives contacted a friend who then told the police. The arrest raised a bitterly divided country's hope of finding answers to the shocking political murder. The 31-year-old Charlie Kirk was hit by a single bullet in his neck while addressing a large crowd at Utah Valley University in the town of Orem. Kirk was an electrifying presence on the US far right with a huge following that helped Donald Trump build the youth vote in his election victory last November. On Friday, visitors paid respect to Charlie Kirk at a makeshift memorial in front of Arizona Mortuary Chapel, where Kirk's body was taken the previous day. Visitors gathered at a makeshift memorial in front of an Arizona Mortuary Chapel to pay their respects, leaving flowers and American flags. The outpouring of support highlights Kirk's impact on his followers. Tyler Robinson, the suspect in the 10th of September shooting death of Kirk at a Utah university, was in custody on Friday. Spring in Canberra kicks off with Floriade. Australia's biggest flower festival starts on Saturday at Commonwealth Park. More than 1 million flowers are in full bloom, with this year's theme called Science and Nature. Celebrating its 38th year, Floriade is expected to attract over 500,000 visitors, bringing nearly $60 million into the local economy and boosting the hospitality sector. Fishermen in the Black Sea are enjoying a strong start to the new fishing season that officially began on 1st September. 2 weeks in, their nets are full of horse mackerel and anchovy, which are now filling market stalls. Urdu, a coastal province, and Sinop, a major fishing hub, are seeing heavy demand as people rush to buy the fresh catch. And fishermen expect even more anchovy as colder weather arrives. Hong Kong's Disneyland celebrated its 20th anniversary, marking 2 decades since it first opened on the 12th of September in the year 2005. Iconic Disney characters like Mickey and Minnie joined the festivities. Visitors could obtain special 20th anniversary badges, and many first-time overseas guests attended the opening ceremony. The park, that had 7.7 million visits last year, reported a net profit of $838 million. Moving on. Credit rating agency Fitch downgraded France's sovereign credit score on Friday to the country's lowest level on record, stripping the Eurozone's second-largest economy of its AA status as it grapples with political crisis and ballooning debt. The move, bringing Fitch's score to A+, heaps pressure on Prime Minister Sebastian Lecornu just days into the job as he scrambles to form a cabinet and draft a 2026 budget that can pass a deeply divided parliament. In sports now, to begin with athletics first, World Athletics Championship kicked off with race walk events and men's shot put qualification on the opening day in Tokyo on Saturday. Well, it is the milestone 20th World Athletics Championship since track and field's first ever World Championships were held in Helsinki in the year 1983. Over 2,000 athletes from 200 teams are competing in 49 events with 147 medals on offer. India's star player javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra leads the 19-member contingent at the event. In 2021 at Tokyo Olympics, Neeraj won the country's first Olympics gold medal in track and field when he hurled his javelin to a distance of 87.58 meters at this venue. Neeraj will be joined by Sachin Yadav, Yashveer Singh and Rohit Yadav in javelin event. Triple jumper Praveen Chitravel, distance runner Parul Chaudhary and 5,000 meter specialist Kulveer Singh are also the part of the squad. In badminton, India's top men's doubles team, Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty entered the semi-finals of the Hong Kong Open on Friday. The top-seeded Indian duo defeated Malaysia's Junaidi Arif and Woi King Yap in the last 8 stage. Satvik and Chirag took the opening game by 21-14 before narrowly losing the second by 20-22, and they bounced back in the decider, sealing the game by 21-16 to book their semi-final berth. The duo will next face Chen Qinghwan and Lin Pengwei of Chinese Taipei. Meanwhile, Lakshya Sen stormed into the men's singles semi-finals of the Hong Kong Open. India's top-seeded shuttler Lakshya Sen knocked out compatriot Ayush Shetty in the quarter-final round. Both Indian shuttlers went toe-to-toe in the high-octane game. Eventually, it was the more experienced Sen who came up trumps to win the 3-game thriller. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live.